Hi everybody, and welcome to this rainy day here on St Helena Island. I have a special project to do today that I thought I would combine with a quick tutorial to help you a little bit with end papers. I have my copy here. It's one that I made for The Mysterious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And inside, everything's complete. Inside, all we're missing is the end papers. So I just received from Hewit Sons in Scotland this hand marbled paper, and it is very nice. It looks great, and I think it is a perfect fit for the inside of this book. Even though I bought it for the Hobbit project, I think it suits this one really well as well. Step one is to make sure the boards inside are prepped. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lip around the edges. This one feels really good, except for a little in the corner here. So I take some sandpaper. This one's an 80. The higher the number, the finer they are. For this, I like quite a thick one. And all I'm doing is just taking away a bit of the edge there. I don't want to go so far out that I wreck the finish on the leather here. I want to make sure that I'm sticking in near the boards where a little bit of scuff on that leather not only won't hurt anything, but it'll help the glue to stick better. So in case it needs that, it will help. It'll also take away any little blobs of glue that may have dropped and gotten out of the way. So it's that quick and easy. This one's got a bit more going on here. The corner's thicker for some reason, or the leather's a bit thinner. If you are skiving the corners of your paper, you'll potentially notice a difference here. And also if you use multiple layers of paper rather than the thicker board to build this up, then you probably won't need to do this. There we go. Just a few seconds worth of work. Make sure I get all the little dusty bits thrown away. And we're into the actual process. Now what we want to do here, find our ruler. The paper is going to be stuck here. This paper will be stuck here and go up across the board. So this is wider than this. So we don't need it to be exactly fitting on this or it'll be too big for here. We want it to be exactly fitting this paper. Two kind of general strategies to do. You can make it a little bit bigger. You still want it smaller than this, but you can make it a little bit bigger than this so that when you glue it on, you can trim it. But it's difficult to trim it once it's on the leather. It's possible, but it's a bit difficult. So what I like to do is get it as perfect as I can to this paper and then measure the length so that it gives a nice even border around here. But this is sometimes the more difficult place to glue onto. So I'm going to start with that. And I'll start by getting the measurement. If you've trimmed your book, this will be different every time. If you're not trimming your book, it will be just that width of an A4 sheet, whatever you used. So this one is 207 millimeters, and it'll be the same all the way across, of course. Make sure your ruler's not at an angle. It'll change your measurements. Make sure it's nice right angle there. So we have 207 millimeters. So I need a nice 207 millimeter piece of this. I'll get a very accurate pen. So that's a very sharp tip. I'll slide this down to 207. I think the camera's catching that, but it's getting close to being off the screen. 205, 7, there we go. Make sure that's a right angle again. I do just a little line like that. It's on there, good. If you have a grid board like this, like I'm working on, one of the benefits of it is that you can line the bottom of your paper up to the lines, or the side on this side, and then you can line your ruler up with these lines, and you know it's got a nice right angle rather than drifting and messing up your measurements. So right there we go again. Thin little line. And I like always to do 3 of them. The reason being that if I mess up on a measurement, they won't line up. And I'll know I messed up before I cut. This paper's not cheap. It's proper hand marbled, not printed paper. Okay, so I've got those 3 lines on there. I will be able to tell where to cut that. Now this, roughly I think it's worth it for me to go all the way along the bottom of the paper. It's been rolled up in shipping, so it's a bit of a pain to work with at the moment. If you can keep it flat, like we do at the library, it's much nicer. But I'm more limited on room. I like to get one of those big map cartographer's drawers to keep certain things out flat. Here we go. So all of these should line up. I'm going to turn it this way just to help me see it a bit better. Now here's my first mark. Next one's there, and it lines up to the 3rd one. I don't know if you can see that because it's tricky to see, but it's encouraging to know that I lined that up correctly. There, there. Got a fresh blade on this. This hand marbled paper is worth almost as much as the leather. See, that one I measured wrong, and I thought I might have done. I think I did 22.7 instead, but this one over here is correct. So, saved myself ruining some expensive paper. This sheet of paper, I think, is about, it's 20 something pounds. Don't recall exactly. For a higher end book, that's not a big deal, but I certainly don't want to waste it. And I didn't put a mark at the end, so I'm going to do that now. I don't know if you prefer that I cut out some of the parts that take more time. See, there's a bit of a problem on the end of the paper here because it's hand marbled. You get that sometimes. It's not a big deal. Just a bit of wrinkling. There we go. And that allows me to line it up for one last cut. There's my little mark. Oh, there it is. So, there we go. Now this, I can set aside and save for the Hobbit. And this can go into Jekyll and Hyde. Okay. I think, just to keep things not just orderly but quieter for you, I think that paper's making a lot of noise. Let's open this up. Now, we are going to want that paper to go right into the fold here and make sure that it's open and even. So right into the fold, which is 14.5 centimeters. And then we probably want it to go about the same amount out this way. Yep, 14.5. So that's 29 centimeters for our vertical cut here. It's going to be tricky to see. I think this pen is not able to write on this paper really well. So 29 is right there. And there comes the torrents of rain. I don't know if you can hear that, but she is really coming down. Okay, so here is our paper that should fit right in there when we are ready to go. Now, let me see on this one. I think that 29 might be just a touch too long. But since there's not enough left on there to really do a great deal with it, I'm not going to trim this back just to try and save that extra centimeter. I will take the cut, do it right now. Sharp knife is a beautiful thing. Okay, so here we have our two end papers. Now again, it'd be nice if they were lying flat. You can put it in a press if you have one, put it under some books and let it flatten out. I just got this yesterday or the day before, just arrived. So it's pretty fresh. I'm going to put some of this acetate in here just to block the moisture from getting into the rest of the book and making it all warbly. So we'll keep that in there. But the other thing that we want is some scrap paper to keep the glue from getting where we don't want the glue to be. So a little bit of glue on this. I'm not going to glue that side yet because I want to do the equivalent of dry fitting it. Now you'll notice when my glue goes over the edge, it goes onto that scrap paper, onto the invisible man. In this case, I'm prepping for that build that I'll do on YouTube with hopefully a bunch of you. It'd be really fun to see all the different designs that people come up with. Start that in the next week or so. Today, the book on turn-ins, or the video on turn-ins, is posted about an hour and a half ago. Now that's glued, but there's glue on the edges. There's glue on the edges that I don't want to get on anything. So I pull out that scrap piece of paper. That acetate plastic sheet is in there. A good quality wax paper, that kind of thing would also work. Now I don't know how well I'm going to be able to film it with that flopping over, but the idea is I want to line up with the edges of the paper. I'm going to focus on this bottom edge and then this edge so that I can kind of move it a bit before I set the whole thing down. So along the edge there, up the top edge, that makes sure that we don't have any overhang and that we're nice and straight. That feels really good. Now what I'm going to do, not going to fold it up there yet, but I'm going to let it kind of sink into the corners a little bit. Get rid of that little bit of glue that came over. I think that might be a little too far, so I'm going to pull it up. Get the fold this way a bit closer. Because we could almost just fold that in half, couldn't we? Let's see how that works. I am going off island shortly, and I hope to come back with some good paint that I can then do end papers, custom end papers for. Oh, look, that's gonna look so good. Okay, now I can see where that falls on there. It's going to be a little bit finicky to get it perfect, but I think that would do. So what I'm going to do is grab another piece of scrap paper, put it under there, and now is a good time to glue up this sheet and attach it to the top. You can just wait for the other sheet to dry, to completely dry, and then add this one. Sometimes I find, especially if you're a bit nervous about it, if you're brand new to doing it, letting things dry in between where you can think about it for a while is a good process for many people. I know in the library when I'm repairing old books and there's a problem that I need to overcome in a way that's economical and practical here on the island, sometimes I'll just have it sitting on the shelf behind my desk at the library there in Plantation House, and I just think on it. I let it bubble around in the back of my mind. I don't focus on it too much. And the solution eventually just comes to me, or has thus far anyway. Okay, now I want to make sure that the border around the outside of this is as even as possible around here so that you have the same amount on the edge, especially where this red turns to black, because the red on red camouflages where that line is a little bit. But the red on black is quite striking and beautiful, but unforgiving. Interesting how many striking and beautiful things in the world can be unforgiving. People and nature alike. Okay, now we've got a little bit of warbly marbling, shouldn't say marbling on marbled paper, warbly rippling in there. And we don't want that. I'm going to get another sheet of this acetate, put it in there, and close the book, and put it into the press for a little while. Just enough to keep it flat so that it can dry in a nice comfortable position. Just one finger. If you want, you can put a couple of books on it. It doesn't have to be super heavy, but you want it to be a firm hold so that that rippling doesn't happen. And while that's being pressed, you can tidy up, refill your coffee, take a little break. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, it's about 10 minutes, I think. And we'll open her up, have a look. That looks pretty good so far. Got a little bit of a lip there, which I don't like. I could have used another layer of paper on there probably, but very minor. Let's do the other side. I am going to put this back in here, close it up, and we'll do the other side. Let's get started. So same as before, we have our paper pre-cut. Put one of these acetate sheets in there, piece of scrap paper. These can be used over and over and over again as scrap paper, by the way. Do a quick dry fit, make sure that fits. It does. It might even be a little thick. Let me see what this side looks like. Be a little tall. Yeah, that's okay. We can always trim it. And we'll do this bottom sheet first. I don't like putting too much glue on one space at one time, like that was quite a lot. But I also don't like going 15 times back and forth from the jar. The problem with doing too much at one point is it can almost instantly wrinkle up that paper. And then you're banking on the press fixing it. Whereas if you're a little lighter with your glue right from the get-go, you don't have a problem to fix. And ideally, that's the way you want to roll. Slide that out. Again, we still have that plastic there protecting the pages underneath. And like before, I'm going to focus on this edge and this edge as I line it up. So that is on the money. Needed to edge it this way a little bit. Okay, fold it down kind of gently into another little acetate sheet in there. Let that sit for a second. Okay. So we'll see how this lines up. We want to edge it around to where we want it to sit. This is a bit thinner than here. So I can lift and pull. This is the back of the book, so it's a bit more forgiving. I think we're ready to go. Put a glue guard in there, and then get this sorted. I did have a breakthrough today with doing the gold lettering. It's been giving me so much trouble. And I think my solution to it was usually hotter, hotter, and hotter. When the problem was I needed to cool it down and find that particular sweet spot of temperature. And I tend to just want to bash my way through it like a bull. But that was very pleasing, so I managed to get the letters on this one done. And that's an area that I am brand new to, but enjoying it immensely when I get it right. Okay, so get that lined up as evenly as we can. Let's going to be a little bit off, I think, because of the geometry of the text block. But again, because it is the back of the book, it's a little bit more forgiving for us. And I can go through, I'll probably trim that up and even it out a little bit. I don't want any wrinkles on there, so I'll stretch that out, fit it down into the fold as well as I can. See, I can already feel it starting to warble here a little bit due to the moisture. So we'll fold that down and again into the press. This one is Thor. We have Gollum and Smeagol at the library. Smeagol. Okay. And that's us for now. I'll give another shot once that is dry. I'll probably leave that in there, probably not overnight, but at least until tonight, possibly until tomorrow morning. And I'll see you then. There you go, that's Endpapers.